Hello everyone, I hope you're all well and welcome to the first channel update, hobby update, channel update of 2024. Now, it's been quite a while since I've done one of these. I think the last one was 3 or 4 months ago, but I thought it'd be a really good opportunity just to take a second to talk about where the channel is at the moment, what's coming up, what are the projects I've been working on outside of the main ones which you see in the channel updates, such as the Crusades and the Gallic Wars, and yeah, just share with you some of the other stuff that I've been working on, some of the things I've got recently that I'm going to be sort of taking a look at. First of all, I just want to start by saying a really big thank you to all of you guys who view the channel and all of you who subscribe and the channel members, because the channel passed 9,000 subscribers a few weeks ago, which is awesome. I know I've said it repeatedly on other sort of milestones, but I genuinely never thought that, you know, that many people would actually be interested in what I had to say for Wargaming, and I'm still not absolutely convinced that I don't just waffle on like an idiot. So if you're one of those people who enjoys that, then thank you very much. That's very cool. So where is the channel at? Well, at the moment, it's in a really good place. I'm really happy with the flow of content and what's going on. Unfortunately, I did have a bout of illness over Christmas, so I couldn't quite get out the battle reports I wanted to. The battle report against my wife had to be postponed because she was very unwell as well, but it is still very much on the cards. Obviously, we've got the ongoing First Crusade campaign for Hail Caesar, and there's the Gallic Wars project, which I've been working on since sort of about the end of November, and that's now at the stage where I'm going to be looking at having some small battle reports and building things up to sort of larger engagements. Now, the First Crusade games, we are, if you're following the campaign, we're on the second area of our campaign. Now, the way that the campaign has been structured, this initial campaign has 3 areas, so we're just over halfway through. The first area was set around the Siege of Nicaea. This second area we're calling the Road to Dorylaeum, and then the last area will essentially be a climax, and that will be the Battle of Dorylaeum itself. Then the plan is to just have a little bit of a break from the Crusade, or just from the campaigning part of the Crusade. There'll probably still be individual battle reports, and then in a few months' time pick up a Crusade campaign again, and this time we'll be dealing with the Siege of Antioch and everything that comes afterwards. So don't worry, that content isn't going to go anywhere, but if we're going to do any kind of campaigns or anything, it might be focused around something else. It could be more Wars of the Roses campaigning, or maybe something a little bit different, so we'll see. But those battle reports will still be happening. Now, there are more Pike and Shot battle reports planned. I have been speaking to Miller about him bringing back his parliamentarians and us having another go. Those battle reports for Pike and Shot always do really well. It's just making sure that our timetables can cross, because he works full-time, I work full-time, and it's not always possible, and you need a good day set aside for that, because the battles are long enough as it is. When you add in things like filming, it can take a lot longer. So hopefully have another one of those on the channel soon, and there will be some more Black Powder, I promise. Around that, we're going to be trying to slot in other battle reports as well. Robin and I both want to really try Soldiers of Napoleon, but before I put up a battle report for Soldiers of Napoleon, I want to have a couple of games of it first to actually sort of make sure I understand the mechanics properly. Miller has got himself a Norman force for Saga, so I'll probably have to give that a go. And more Test of Honor. Now, I actually had a game of Test of Honor during the week, and it was a complete farce. It didn't really get anywhere. The problem was the scenario we picked didn't gel properly with the special rules, and the battle just didn't flow correctly. After about an hour of playing, we basically decided it was time to give up, and we've gone away and we've had a little bit of a think about how we can amend the scenario a little bit so it actually flows a little bit better. So that battle report will be coming. We're going to play that again, and I'll explain in that video as well what our problem was with the initial battle and then what we did to amend it. Now, you've probably seen on the channel, if you've seen the Plastic Crack podcast, you may have seen that I've been sent a couple of rule sets to have a look at, and these are going to be coming up on the channel. The guys over at WIP Gaming, WIP Gaming, or Work in Progress Gaming, I'm not quite sure which way round it is, have sent me these. Now, these are the rules for On Bloody Ground, and they look very cool. So this set here deals with the Norman Conquest, and this set here deals with the Reconquista and El Cid. So they've sent these for me to have a look at. So there is a flip through overview and combat examples coming for these shortly. On top of that, I've also been very lucky. Simon Miller from Big Red Bat has also popped these over to me, which are the Montrose To Win and Lose It All book, and the Celtic Fringe book for To the Strongest for King and Parliament. These are expansions, so those will be coming up on the channel as well. Speaking of English Civil War, I mean, this could be another system that we'd like to play on the channel. I say I would like to play. I've just got to find someone willing to play against me. Now, something a little bit different for the channel. There's obviously been a lot of talk about the old world. Now, I'm not about to start the old world, so don't worry. I have a large Dark Elf army, which if I do play any old world, I'll just be using that. However, one of the things I wanted to do this year was really start focusing on my painting. I've got a lot of projects that I've worked my way through, and I've got some very large armies. But I really want to work on my painting techniques, and I've been trying to apply that to various models, and sometimes fantasy miniatures just allow you to just try out effects that you wouldn't necessarily get on historicals. So for that, I've already been working on some Warhammer 30,000, some Horus Heresy things, just as a sort of a break from the historical stuff here and there, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. They're part of the online painting challenge that we run, that's run for us over at the Plastic Crack podcast. But I also picked up this, which is quite a hefty box. So this is the Parabellum Conquest First Blood set. Now, this is a 2-player starter set. I showed this to Robin, and it didn't take much convincing for him to go halves with this on me. And this comes with essentially the orcs and the undead. The orcs are, well, they're orcs, and the undead are called the Old Dominion, and they're essentially undead Romans or Byzantines. And you get a lot of plastic in here. You can hear that. And it comes with 2 rule books and two sets of everything, basically. So it's a proper 2-player set. And I'm just really impressed with the models in here. And I've watched battle reports, and it looked like a fun game. So we're going to be giving that a go. I may do an unboxing for this on the channel if people are interested. When I was actually looking for this, I could only find one sort of unboxing video on YouTube, and it wasn't particularly helpful, I didn't really feel, to me, because I didn't really know anything about the game beforehand. So maybe I'll have a look at that, but I'll hopefully have some of those to show off some painting in the future. Now, the last thing I'm just going to show you before I spin the camera around and we look at the desk and you no longer have to, look at my face, is, of course, if you're into the Wars of the Roses, or you follow various threads on Facebook who are interested in this, you'll probably know that Graham Turner, who does some of the best illustrations of medieval art for the 15th century and for a lot of periods, released his medieval art of the Wars of the Roses, this book. Now, I was lucky enough to talk to Graham, and he'd said, this was a couple of years ago, that this book was coming, and even if you're not a wargamer, but you're into history, this book is fantastic. And what we'll do is we'll spin the camera around and have a quick flip through of this, but not one that's too in depth, because really I think you should go and buy it. But yeah, let's turn the camera around, have a flip through of this, and I'll just show you some of the other things that I've been working on around the main projects. Okay, so here we are. Here it is, the Wars of the Roses, the medieval art of Graham Turner. This is published by Osprey, so you can get it over on the Osprey website, or you can go and get it from Graham Turner's website, Studio 88, and I'll leave a link down below. It's got all of his artwork on it. I'm not going to do a complete sort of run through or anything like that. I just want to sort of share with you how cool this book is. Here we have one. I actually have this picture up on the wall. I actually have one of the Gisli prints up on the wall, and so there we have Edward IV at the Battle of Barnet. So this is actually essentially a good. I don't really know another way to put it. I don't want to say overview, because if you say overview, that makes it sound like it's not very detailed. This is a good detailed look at the Wars of the Roses, at the military side of things, the causes of the Wars of the Roses. Here, the first section here really kicks things off with the things that happen in France at the end of the 100 Years' War. You've got his fantastic artwork there of Agincourt, and then it deals with the rise of Henry VI. And all of the troubles that start brewing in the kingdom as things start to descend towards civil war and all of the various things that go wrong. It really is just a sumptuous, fantastic book full of amazing pieces of artwork. Now, not all of this artwork has been seen before. A lot of it is on his website and on his socials, but not everything. Here we have Henry Holland, the Duke of Exeter, and it's full of all these fascinating asides in here, including quite a lot of looks at tomb effigies, and that will come back round to something I'm going to show you guys later when it comes to sort of where Ragged Staff is at the moment. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it deals all of the major events. And sorry, I've just opened it. This is his drawing of John Neville, Lord Montague, who is my one of the most interesting characters, and I don't think he gets enough love in the Wars of the Roses. I feel like he's got a bit of a bad reputation, and but I find him absolutely fascinating. But obviously it deals with things like Towton. I've got this picture up on the wall as well. He's done some really iconic artwork that people will be familiar with, and then you've got some things in here as well that people might not be so familiar with. So this is, I assume, the death of Clifford at Dintlindale, and then we have the sort of the standoff at St Michael's Mount that took place. I mean, it really is fascinating. Even if you don't game the Wars of the Roses, this is such a beautiful book to have in your collection, both for reference and just to read. Really is. And what I love about it is how it deals with some of the more sort of mundane elements of life as well. So you do have sort of the ladies in waiting, and you do have some sort of, like, you know, the tradesmen and stuff in here as well, talking about what they're doing. It really is fascinating. Obviously it comes in, deals with Richard III, doesn't spend too long getting into the details of all of the goings on with the princes, because that's not what it's about. This is an account of the Wars of the Roses. We have the arrival of Henry Tudor. That's a very nice picture. Oh, that's Lord Ferrers. He's one of the ones I'm considering doing for my next part of my project on the Wars of the Roses. He's done some really iconic art for Bosworth, which you can see here. I mean, it's just fantastic. Classic Richard on the horse. I say classic Richard like that's things, but we're so used to seeing Graham's images of Richard, I kind of feel it's become synonymous with that gilded armour. There's Henry being crowned. And then, quite nicely, it goes a bit beyond the Wars of the Roses. Well, I say it goes beyond the Wars of the Roses. It continues, because a lot of the books cut off at Bosworth. This one carries on here to the Battle of Stoke Field, and then deals with some of the after effects. So, like what happened here to Lord Lovell. This is a fantastic book as well for heraldry, and could give you a lot of ideas. So, there you go. That is just a quick flip through of that Wars of the Roses book by Graham Turner, which I've been waiting to get my hands on for quite a long time. Right, let me show you some of the models that I've been working on. Okay, so here's a look at something that's been going on in the background while I work on other projects. These are 15mm models from 3D Breed. These are 3D printed models, and they're designed for the Scottish Wars of Independence for William Wallace. However, I'm using them just to build up some small forces in order to play the Barons' Wars, the second Barons' Wars with Edward and Simon de Montfort and all of those characters. And these are just cracking little figures. They're a bit cartoony. I would call them heroic, if that makes sense. They've got that kind of slightly enlarged hands and heads. But I really like them, and I'm just having some fun with these. I haven't really got any particular system in mind. I've just been enjoying, in my spare time, just painting these up. I'll show you now. I've got a tub of 3D print of all of these little guys printed off. So as I print things off for ragged stuff or anything else, there's always lots of room left in and around models. So I just drop these guys in. So and barrels and all sorts. So oh, there we go. What have we got here? Let's have a quick look at this guy here. There we go. There's just a little knight and a horse to pop him on. And I just kind of go fishing in here when I'm ready to paint one. So, because these are quite easy and quick to paint up as you're doing other things. So I just have this little tub of models that I go sort of dipping into. I whack them onto lollipop sticks like this, and you know, this army sort of just builds up as the rest of my projects build up. So look, I just have these sitting next to my painting desk, and I just add some paint onto them as and when the opportunity allows. Here we have John de Warenne. He is the 6th Earl of Surrey. It's a little command base. As again, I don't know what system. I guess I could use To the Strongest for these, or Hail Caesar, whatever. I just thought that they were cool, and it would be just fun to have something in 15mm. So here we have some longbowmen, and there's absolutely tons of models in this range if to print, and obviously you can get quite a lot on 15mm models on a plate. So yeah, that's sort of just a nice little little thing on the side that I thought I'd share. Now let me show you something a little bit more weird. Now, as you can see, I've been painting up some Space Marines. Specifically, I've been painting up Marines for the Horus Heresy, for Warhammer 30,000, 30k, whatever you want to call it. I really enjoy the books and the lore, and as part of me expanding on my painting, I thought it would be fun to actually do something essentially from each kind of genre, if you like, that I'm interested in. So sci-fi, historicals, fantasy, because there's painting techniques on these you're just never going to apply to, say, ancient Gauls, and it could just have a little bit of fun. So my idea with these is I'm just going to build up a small force of Dark Angels and World Eaters. Some Dark Angels I'll show you in a second, and probably have some very little games with it as well. I'm interested in narrative gaming, as you know. I've seen the what's it called, the Zone Mortalis rules, and I thought maybe that would be fun. So really, you'd only be looking at sort of 20-25 models aside, just having a narrative game. That's all I want. This is just a nice opportunity of me to try something a little bit different. So obviously these are World Eaters. This is before they've gone and changed all their armor to red, or before it's become so caked in gore that it looks red. These are the Mark III. I want to say Mark III. Hang on a second. Yeah, these are Mark III armor sets. Now, the shoulder pads and the chain axes, those are 3D printed. They're bought 3D files from a third-party designer, because I just wanted to paint up something that looks quite cool, and I just like the way they looked. I've then used various weathering techniques to just sort of grime them up, and then use different shades of blood, and I've made these nice bases from scratch, just, you know, using different sand paste and weathering paste, and I don't know, I had a lot of fun. They don't take that long. Something I am quite pleased with is this guy's face. Now that head is 3D printed. Now these are the World Eaters, so those are meant to be the butcher's nails in his head that drive him nuts. And I've been playing around with the AK Interactive deep shades, and you could have seen the previous video I did on those, and I basically used the deep shades to really kind of work on sort of the bruising and puffy red parts of his face, to really give him that kind of I keep on calling it the strung out dad look, the dad who's awake at 3 AM because his kid won't sleep and it's his turn. But that was a lot of fun to work on, and obviously he has a ridiculously oversized axe. So yeah, there's these. Now this guy here, I like the idea of this guy, but after sticking him together and painting him, I'm not actually that big a fan of him. I think it's more just to do with how I've positioned his arms and how the shoulder pads have ended up. I think I would have preferred him if his arms were sort of pointing this way and he had the axes out towards his enemy, but he'll do at the back. Another guy here looking for some victims, I guess. This is obviously before they've gone completely nuts, so I thought having one who still had some sort of like facial hair and, you know, didn't look completely, I was about to say completely insane, but you know what I mean. Doesn't look completely mutated by chaos yet. Would be quite fun. And then here's the last one as well. There we go. So those are the World Eaters, and I've got some Dark Angels that I've started. I've finished one, which was my test model, which is this chap here. I've basically tried to go for techniques I would use on historical models to do the armour, and then try and sort of jump in, and as you can see, I've tried to do some glow effects with the greatsword. He does look a little bit like Sean Connery. There we go. So I've got a few of these to be working on. So my plan is I sort of build up 5 World Eaters, build 5 Dark Angels. It's just a nice thing to work on as I'm working on my historical stuff. But as I'm talking about historical stuff, let me show you something I am working on that is a little bit more grounded in history. Okay, so I've been working on some more models for Test of Honor that I've picked up. Now these are going to have their own individual update, but I'll just show them off. Here's some Ashigaru with heavy muskets, which are quite fun to work on. If you follow the updates on Test of Honor, you'll notice I've done them in the same armor scheme as I did previously. I've got these 3 spear-armed Ashigaru on the go. These are all metals by Grafenau Games that I've picked up over the last few months at shows and shops as I've seen them. And I just thought that these would be nice little allies for the forces that I have. And I picked up this at Warfare. So here is the famous Samurai Musashi. I've decided to paint him up in sort of fairly bright colours. I just wanted to do something a little bit different from the blue, but he's sort of, I don't know, about 60% finished. You can see I've still got details to do. All of the legs and the cloth are done, and his face as well. That's all finished. So those will be coming out in an update soon as well, and hopefully, as I say, the Test of Honor battle report that we filmed will redo, and we'll have the game and share that. But I just want to share just a couple of other things before I sort of round this off and see where we are. So the guys over at WIP Gaming, when they sent me the rules to have a look at, they also sent me just a few little sample packs of some miniatures that they're releasing. And what we have here is we have some ancient Greeks. Now I will be painting these up. So these are lovely chunky metal figures. Like classic looking, classicals. But nice, really nice looking chunky sculpts with these shields with molded designs on. I picked up probably the most simple one there that I could. There we go. We have the Athenian owl. Details on the inside of the shield. Yeah, really nice. So I will. I'm going to paint these up in a future update, and I'll have a look at these all in one go. I really like this guy here. But as well as some 28mm stuff, they do 10mm as well. So here we have some 10mm Saxons. Now I've got a small 10mm project on the go. Now I really like these because look, you've got, oh, it's so small. You've got these guys looking at a shield wall, one on top of the other. Standard bearer. Lord. So we've got 10mm Saxons there, just a few samples of that, and we have some Vikings here. There's a really interesting set of models, and it's well worth going over to their website and having a look. I quite like this Berserker coming in there. Traditional guy with a big choppy axe. And as well, just they sent me very kindly just a couple of 10mm Berbers to have a look at. Now, I know that there's people who are interested in doing the Berbers. So there we go. There he goes, an archer, some diddy little spearman. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the 10mm stuff. I might try and just integrate those into my 10mm project. But certainly these Greeks I'll paint up onto some bases and show those off at some point. Right, now before we go, I just want to share with you an update from Ragged Staff. Okay, so it might have been a little bit quiet on the Ragged Staff front on updates, and that's simply because I'm not complaining, but basically the web store or the Etsy store is always really busy. So as soon as I restock it, within a couple of days, those miniatures just go, which is awesome. It is great. But yeah, I haven't been keeping up with things as much as I should. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things going on. So what I just wanted to share with you here is the next model, which will be in the next wave, which will consist of a couple of guys. And this is the first one, and this is the Disgruntled Heir. Now, this chap, his armour is modelled on the armour that can be found on the tomb of Nicholas Fitzherbert in the church in Norbury. It's one of the best alabaster tombs you'll see, and this is a really good example of an English armour. And my sculptor Marcos has done such an amazing job of capturing all of the fluting and the intricacies of this armour. I decided I didn't want an action pose. I just wanted sort of a much more relaxed pose. Maybe he's standing at the back of the company, or he's looking on. I just like the idea that there's a younger sort of son who's just a little bit annoyed that he isn't the heir yet. Now, he will come with a poleaxe like this one here. However, it could easily be given a banner. So here you go, same miniature, just painted with blackened armour and carrying a banner. But this one is carrying the personal coat of arms of Lord Zeus. There you go. Now, I had a couple of requests before, and I basically haven't done it yet because I wasn't quite sure what the uptake would be, but this seemed like the perfect miniature to actually produce a large scale miniature for. Now, if you watch the AK Interactive video on the Deep Shades, you'll have seen this chap. So this is a 75mm version of this. Now, these are exactly the same in terms of the details. I've just scaled them up and scaled up that poleaxe. And this is the first large-scale miniature I've painted in a really long time, and I'm just really pleased with how he's come out. So I will be, Ragged Staff will be making some more of these. They're not going to be quite this big. They are going to be 54mm, so they'll be just probably about shoulder height, unless people specifically want this one here. But all of those details of the armour, all that fluting, all of the buckles, everything, it just comes out so well. And I really like the study on the armour, and I just thought it was worth a large model. Anyway, there we are. So the next miniature is planned. It's just waiting to have its sculpt finished, and then that one and this one will go onto the store as well. And I've basically been working at basically a way that I can just keep everything stocked up a little bit more regularly. So there we go. Anyway, I hope that's just a nice little sort of look into what's coming. I hope you guys enjoyed this update. I just was very conscious that I hadn't done a general update for quite a long time. So in terms of upcoming videos, the next video out after this one will probably be the overview and flip through of the WIP games rulebooks, and I'm going to try and do a combat example in there to sort of show off how that works. Then I've got the Roman painting video for the Gallic Wars, the stuff I'm working on with Warlord Games. I've got some STLs to look at from War Steel. We have the Montrose to the Strongest books review. My Test of Honor update for the next set of miniatures, a Roman versus Gauls battle report, then we've got the First Crusade games, and basically anything else that can fit in around that. I hope you guys stick around. If you've got any questions about anything that I've shared here or any comments, then please do just drop them below. I do try to go through all of the comments and reply. And if you've got any questions specifically, feel free to bung them in an email to me and say hi. Anyway, I hope you're all keeping well and you've had a great weekend. And I will see you all again soon in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.